Hey guys, I invented a new word. It's called plagiarism. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Just a fun new set of Lightspeed tokens are out. They're rebels, and they're just in time for our new ships. So we're going to talk about that. It'll be great. First, huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for your support, guys. And if you want to support this channel for free, all you got to do is hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment. Let's mount the algorithm, guys. It's going to be good. The rebels are mounting the algorithm. Be a rebel. Be like everyone else. Be a rebel. Let's okay, so first off, go to the web store. Do what you want. I don't care. But if you want, I know a lot of people just don't keep like they don't keep going to the web store and stuff. There is, for the next week, a free carbonite lightspeed token, which it's for rebels, and if you have all your rebels already upgraded to a certain level, I think to like gear 10 or something, then they just turns into, I think, carbante, which is fine. But this is one of the tokens that we can use for the topic of our conversation. So now let's go into the game. It's gonna be madness, to say the least. Whoa, we're in the game. This is madness. So if you're on the PC client, I couldn't find it. I don't think it's on the actual mobile game. You can also buy the Lightspeed token, the Kyber Lightspeed token. It's $15. I guess you get a little discount or something here. If you want it, I think you can also buy it on the web store. But you can get one Rebel up to Relic 5. And all the abilities to tier 7 stars, blah blah blah. Of course, rebels, actually, they have a ton of characters that you just can't use these on. So if you click on the token, you can find this little menu. So we don't have to worry about the legacy, or them not being in the legacy era. They haven't released any rebels very recently, but we can't have any galactic legends, no journey guide units, and I'll show you guys which characters specifically. Conquest units, guild raid units, which there's only 3 of them in the game, but one of them happens to be rebels, and territory battle units, which is kind of a question mark for me. I couldn't find any material to tell me whether I'm right about this or not, so we're gonna guess. Of course, it's gonna be great. A lot of characters, I think there's 9 characters that are disqualified by these things, but there's still, rebels are a huge faction. So let's talk about these factions, but let's do it from a different angle in the game, shall we? Whoa, we're in a different angle, by which I mean we're on a different screen, and using a slightly different layout, way different from my perspective, probably also a little different from yours. Anyways, the characters that don't use we can't use these on, as far as I know. So I think the whole top row, obviously, they're all legendary or higher, you know, the galactic legend. And then these are all journey guide characters. We can't use the lightspeed token on them. Han is a raid character. Luthen is a conquest character. And then my biggest question marks, I think Rolo and Captain Rex both are disqualified from this, because they were exclusively part of territory battles for a while. I'm not totally sure about it, though. And you can unlock them for GET2 now. So I'm not totally sure. They are unlocked characters, and they're not very good characters for what it's worth, but that's why I have Rolo at Relic 8, obviously. Anyways, so these guys, we're just going to assume Rolo and Captain Han don't count. Cholo, as people like to call him. People like to point out that there's 5 Han Solos in this game, but they all kind of suck, except for the one raid Han Solo. So I don't know why I thought I'd say that. It's just been on my mind lately. People complain about it, but we should complain about the lack of quality Hans. Anyways. Sorry, I was thinking about something off topic. So, best deal. If you're gonna if you want to spend money on Lightspeed tokens, folks, I actually don't necessarily recommend this. $15 for one character to Relic 5 is cool enough, but then you still have to apply the Omicrons and Zetas for them. And I mean, it's an okay deal, but it pales in comparison to the hyperspeed or the Lightspeed bundle. Like the bundles are where the magic is at, and honestly, most of this faction is actually in Lightspeed bundles. There's a ton of them that are just covered by this, and so that I kind of don't recommend the $15 Lightspeed tokens. That said, if you wanted to get one of spend money for the Lightspeed tokens, or you wanted a good target to just kind of get a start on one of these characters with your free carbonite one, then I would say these are the best deals. So Drogon, someone just recently pointed out, like I just put that video out talking about how I didn't know. I don't want to spoil the videos. The most recent one, I think, I lose track sometimes, but maybe the one before or two ago, talking about the new ships and what I think they're going to mean for unlocks potentially. But I said I didn't know what pilot would go with B-Wing, and someone speculated maybe it would be Captain Drogon, because even though he didn't pilot a B-Wing, he was at the Battle of Endor, and I mean, he could be a pilot. We don't know. I mean, it seems like physically he would struggle a little bit with being a pilot. I don't know. I don't mean to be bigoted or whatever. I just don't know if he can do it. But the thing is, they also made Rose a pilot, even though her sister, her hot sister, was the one who was actually the pilot in the game or in the movie. And so Drogon could kind of be like a proxy pilot for B-Wings because he was involved in the Battle of Endor. Anyways, I think, not to mention, he's a requirement for Leia, who is the second most important galactic legend. Maybe that'll shift a little bit once we know more about Hondo. But Drogon is absolutely a worthwhile character. Even if you don't want a Leia team, for some reason you don't want to unlock Leia because you're crazy, you could just use Drogon on a lot of teams, like a Mon Mothma team, a Saw team, just probably that's it. I think actually CLS uses him pretty well as well. He does pretty good regardless, so definitely a character that you want. Captain Rex, of course, he's also one of the most wanted versatile characters in the game. He wants to go on a ton of different teams. He wants to go on like clone teams, on Phoenix teams, on like Leia teams like him, Saw teams, the Mon Mothma, like all kinds of squads. He's very versatile, and he's also a requirement for Leia. Adrad, I mean, a lot of people are going to have him because of profundity, of course, but if you don't already, remember he's the number the number 4 character. That doesn't sound that impressive on a Leia team, but he is necessary for that. Even if you don't want to unlock profundity for some reason, he's still really good. So one of the reasons that I'm placing these like the best deal and like the very top rankings are also considering of the bottleneck for Kyrotech. Kyrotech is still a huge bottleneck for a ton of different players, and so any of the characters that require those bottleneck pieces, the Kyrotech, are going to be a higher level. I know all characters require at least 100 Kyrotech. People always try to get me on that one. I'm like, oh, you forgot. But yes, I realize every character requires 100 Kyrotech. Most characters require way more than 100, though, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. And Adrad actually requires 500 Kyrotech, whereas even the most recent characters that they've been releasing only require 400. So Adrad requires a lot. I'm trying to remember if it was Saw that also requires 500. He requires a ton as well. And then Mon Mothma, so Saw is really good. He's a little bit of a luxury character. Like you can get him to gear 12 and then just leave him there. But he's also required for Rise of the Empire territory battles, special mission to get your guild a bunch of GET2. He's also required in GAC to kick your opponent's ass. He's also required, I mean, he's just a pretty good character in general. I keep being more and more impressed by the guy. Mon Mothma, she's a little less impressive, but she is also required for at least 1 galactic legend, maybe 2. I don't remember. I lose track of these things, guys. Or maybe it's like 1 capital ship or something. Anyways, she Also requires Kyrotech. She's expensive. You need to work on her. So those are the best deals, in my opinion. The pretty good ones, these ones are the only other ones that require Kyrotech, guys. Chupio, you need, I think he's a requirement character as well. He actually only requires, I think, 300 Kyrotech. I think he's like one of the few characters that do. One of these characters. I looked it all up, guys, and now it's all getting fuzzy for me. Kyle Katarn. Look, if my tinfoil hat theory, my conspiracy theory of what I think is going to come out soon is going to come out, it seems like he's actually going to be a pretty decent guy because he's going to be a pilot of a ship that's relevant in that fleet. And so also he's required at Relic 5 to unlock Star Killer if you haven't done that already. And then he goes really well with the Rebel Fighter teams as well. He has a ton of different tags that make him really good. He's a very versatile dude. And then Cara Dune she actually goes pretty well on a lot of different teams. She goes well on Saw. She's able to reduce turn meter with her AoE. She does all sorts of weird stuff. I would say, I mean, and she's required to unlock like Bando, but you don't need her at high relics or anything. She's all right. She's okay. I mean, she's probably the least out of all of these, but she does technically count as a rebel. Okay, so all the rest of these characters don't require Kyrotech. Like, can you believe Fulcrum is old enough not to have Kyrotech requirements? She is required at Relic 9 for Ahsoka. She is for Galactic Legend Ahsoka. She's also really strong in on like a seer team, and in territory wars she does really well. So and she's good at doing twirly things, so that's cool. We all need more people in our lives who are good at twirly things. Baze, he not only does he require a ton of Carbonite, which used to be a huge bottleneck, and it still might be in the early game, I'm not totally sure, but he's also not required for anything. He's just really strong. He does a lot of really cool stuff. He has two specials that both dispel, and he's just very tanky. His kit is aged very well, actually. I still use him a decent amount. He can go on a lot of different teams. This faction is huge, and he was the first character that had a pre-taunt, and that's nice. I guess some people call it an auto taunt, whatever. Like when he goes into the match, he starts with a taunt, which is really good. And he gets a lot of turn meter passively, which is also really strong. Like his kit is aged very well, and it can be a very challenging dude to deal with for certain teams. Goes really well on an AdRad team, which I think we're going to be using an AdRad team here pretty soon in GAC. The Datacrons look really for AdRad looks really good. The Focus Datacron. Okay, so Jin, same thing for her. She's required for AdRad. She's just doesn't have any Kyrotech other than the 100. She's pretty good. I don't know. She's required at Relic 5 for what? Profundity, I think. So a good one if you haven't gotten her yet. A very old character. Bodhi and Pow are they're the heroes of the day. A lot of people aren't going to have them geared, actually. Well, maybe, is Pow required for something? No one knows, guys. I'm just going to ask that. I'm assuming he is required for some stuff, but Bodhi is not required for anything. However, he is now going to be a pilot. Finally, he's the pilot, but he's been shipless for like 7 or 8 years, however long he's been out, and he's finally getting his ship, and that's exciting. He's not a good character on his own. He's one of the most atrocious. He's I think the only rebel. Is it the only rebel on my alt account that isn't geared up? Something like that. It's like gear 1 still. He's not good. However, he's like a perfect target in that case because he hasn't been good. You're going to need to put him at relics in order for that ship to be good. It seems like, maybe I'm wrong, but you're probably going to want to relic him up, and so he's a good target. And Pow is also a pilot for it, apparently. So That'll be great. You guys can work on them. And then POW actually goes really well. The Bon Mothma team is really just kind of a little bit defunct these days, unless you have Luthen. Usually if you have Luthen, you want him to go with Saw. But if you wanted Luthen to go with Mon Mothma, then POW is pretty good on that team as well. Okay, and then other ones, we're kind of getting into the weeds here a little bit. We're going to spend a little less time ranking these, but like E2SO, still really good on an ADRAD team. He's not required for anything other than as a pilot, and he's a pilot of Cassian's U-Wing that is has 3 pilots, so his gear matters less. He's still a very solid tank that's just kind of overlooked by a lot of people, but he's going to be good in the upcoming Datacron set with the Focus Datacron turret. Is really good with either Baze or ADRAD, especially if he's hanging out with Baze. Saw or ADRAD, sorry. Cassian is required at Relic 8 for Profundity, so he's a good option if you haven't geared him up yet. And of course, none of these require Kyrotech, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, he requires, I think, 400 or 500 Carbanti. And then Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, he used to be the guy who required the most Carbanti in the whole game. I don't know if that's still the case. I stopped caring about it a while ago, but he is actually very, very expensive Carbanti-wise. I think he requires like 550 or something. He's also a pilot. We have, hey, look at that, Phoenix. They all need the exact same gear. Go look it up. It is actually really weird, including Zeb. Maybe Chopper's a little bit different, but like they all need the same stuff. They're all pilots. They're all kind of requirements for, I guess, Thrawn and stuff. Lobot is actually a requirement for Leia. Maybe he should be ranked a little higher. Biston, who knows if Farm Boy Luke is going to need more leveling. Probably not. But maybe, honestly, if we ever get his ship for him, he really might be. Biggs is obviously a pilot. He's a requirement character as well. Like most of these characters are requirements for something. And then I mean, you just have the dregs. Like where do you use these guys? You know, like we don't use any of these guys really for any of the stuff. Like Lobot, you kind of use sometimes. It's kind of weird when Lobot, or maybe Biggs, because he's a pilot for an X-Wing, that I actually use sometimes. Like it said, when those are the guys that are used the most. You can see Hoth Rebel Soldier on my main account, which is almost 15 million. I still don't have him relicked, so clearly high opinion of that guy. But that's it, guys. That's the list. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think? Did I miss something here? Did I get one of these rankings wrong? I'd love to hear it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.